On my way to hunt, I stopped in St. Joe to put on my snake gaiters and my bug spray, and it is windy, 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 as I found out at my hunt site. Now this is an overview of where I'll be hunting. That's where I'm going to encounter my first sounder and my third lone boar. Way off across the creek over there, it's going to be where I encounter the first and second lone boars. And off to the west, you can see the haze in the sky of all the dust. And that's where I'm going to encounter my second sounder. And carpe sus, right at dusk, from my hilltop position, I spied this hog way across the creek. Drove out there this time instead of walking. Got to within about 300 yards of it and started my stalk. Here I've crossed the creek. Alright, here we go. And the hog goes right down, disappears in the high grass.
Brass Catcher by Tactical Brass Recovery.
The bullet went all the way through and through, hitting the spine in the process. No bullet was recovered. The hog was still alive when I walked up on him, so it did require a finishing shot. I drove back to the high point on the property, did a quick survey, saw another hog back out in the same field, drove back out to it. Made my stalk across the creek. There's the hog in the field that's got his head down in a hole. There in the high grass. And here I've gotten closer. The wind is good at this point, and off in the distance I see lights coming in my direction on the neighbor property.
Somebody is spotlighting on the property next door.
And sure enough, there are other hunters, and they are spotlighting and watch the hog. It takes notice of the light. It's looking up, watching the lights as they approach, and I figure I've got to shoot now. It looks and sounds like a solid shot to the shoulder. And then he gets up and starts to run. And I am just not finding the range on this hog. He slows down. Still failed to connect. He disappears over the ridgetop and into the woods. Looking at the individual shots, this first shot looks solid. I should have been spot on at 150 yards. Second shot was a little bit high. I apparently had too much lead on the third shot for the speed the hog was going. And I liked the fourth shot, but maybe I overcorrected too far, and the shot ended up behind him. Well, on the way back to the truck, I spied these hogs off to the east. Now the wind is blowing to the right, and so I need to circle around and get behind the hogs and be shooting back into the wind, which is where I've gone to right here. Alright, I'm going to start with this big sow in the front. Here we go. She goes down. A little high. A tad low into the dirt. And look at this.
Holy moly.
Those hogs must have been on the other side of the slope from where I am, and any attempt at those would be just a Hail Mary shot and a waste of ammunition. So back to the hogs at hand. I apparently still have some. Now I hear the wounded hog that ran by. I located my downed hogs, went back to the truck and got these photos later. Turns out to be a good haul. And of course this is the equipment that I'm using, still using the Lone Star Armory TX15 multi-purpose carbine. And of note, the two large sows were each pregnant and each had 4 piglets on board. Looks like they were just about ready to come to term. So I got back to the high point of the property, noticed the hogs in the opposite direction. The arrow shows the direction that the wind's blowing. And what I'm going to need to do is to come around and approach them from downwind and shoot upwind into empty field. And that's where I am now. I've got cattle off to the left up on the hillside. I've got that one satellite hog, and that's the direction that I want to be shooting right there. I'm going to move a couple more times to get in a better position. Here we are. Wind's blowing towards me. The hogs don't realize I'm here. Unfortunately, they're partially occluded in the high grass. Alright, here we go. Changing over to SST. That piglet is hit. That one goes down. That one goes down. That connected. Now I'm having trouble seeing the hogs because they're in tough grass, type of grass called love grass. And it's anywhere from shin high to thigh high. Check ahead, no cattle. That one goes down. Previously wounded hog is up. And it's down. Scanning for targets. There go my hogs in front of the cattle, so I can't shoot in that direction. And I am done. I searched for over an hour, but finding hogs in that high grass is tough. I only came away with these 2 small boars. And so now I've gone to deal with the hogs of the first sounder. I'm actually hooking up a hog to the truck at this point. Happened to scan out and see this hog out in the field about 300 yards away. I don't know if it's just oblivious to me or he's ignoring me and doesn't see me as a threat. So I'm going after this target of opportunity. Alright, here we go. The first shot drops him and I hit him with a quality assurance shot. In almost the exact same place on the opposite side, as you'll see. He turned out to be a 200-pound boar. So the first bullet entered the left shoulder that you see here. The second bullet entered the right shoulder. And the bullets crisscrossed and ended up within about 3 inches of where the opposite bullet actually entered. Both bullets had about 10 to 11 inches of penetration. The first bullet had almost 83% weight retention. The second bullet didn't fare quite so well, coming in at just under 65% weight retention. Carpe sus, my friends.